Spencer's back. What's going on, Spencer? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How's it going here? Have everything crumbled to the ground since I've been gone? Has killed the market again?
You're here just in time to pick up the pieces. Yeah. Anything been going on?
Just grinding, gotten some stuff in the works. You know, lots of different stuff going on behind the scenes. Can't wait to talk about some of it soon.
Epic. And didn't you say that there was like an announcement you wanted to share?
Oh yeah. So there's a big announcement, which is actually got broke by the BBC this morning, which is that I've gotten tickets for a year from now to the new Taylor Swift concert in Wales. I'm very excited. There's actually, I kid you not, a BBC article about it this morning about my attendance of that concert. So huge news. I know everyone at home has been in their seats riveted, waiting for that news. Did we get the tickets or not? We did. We're going there. Big, exciting. You should all be very happy.
Well, Spencer, I heard that the Feds have a close eye over on Taylor Swift because they're trying to get inflation down, and apparently she is just creating so much economic growth in every city that she goes to that they literally wrote about her in the Fed.
I mean, that's a riot.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this too. You know, she's boosting up the hotel business. You know, that's really the group that I was most concerned for in all of this has always been the hotels. You know, you say think about the people, but I say think about the hotels.
Clemente pulled up an article. It says local economies are getting a boost from Taylor Swift and Beyonce concerts. Clearly, there's no recession if you're a pop star these days. Signal, you were going to add something?
No, I just, you know, like how in the States you get cities that are also in Europe. So like there's Paris, France, but there's Paris, Texas. You know, you can get those two mixed up. So when you say Wales, do you actually mean Wales in the United Kingdom, or is there a Wales in the US that I'm not aware of?
No, I'm talking about good old UK. Hey, we're skipping across the pond.
Welsh are awesome. That is going to be an epic concert. That is going to be absolutely
Signal.
Epic.
Did you know there's a London in Canada?
Yeah. No, I didn't know that. And so sometimes I have to clarify these things when people are like, where are you going on holiday? And I'm like, you know, going to Paris with Americans. I always have to ask just in case.
Yeah, no, my wife was like, yeah, Morgan Wallen's playing in London. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. She's like, yeah, but he's like, it's like smashed in between two Canada locations. And she's like, never mind. He's actually in London, Canada. So fun fact of the day. You can go to London.
Fun fact of the day. Only go to the real one though. There's only one London and it's not in Canada.
Spencer, I'd say probably out of all the things that you missed, I think the most controversial thing that you missed, and this might come as a surprise to you, is a discussion surrounding the film Inception by Christopher Nolan. There's been very, polarizing takes on this movie. What is your opinion on the movie Inception by Christopher Nolan?
I think it's a good movie. I think, you know, it was a big thinker. A lot of people had opinions on it. Even the fact that you're discussing it now, so many years after, is a testament to how much in the cultural zeitgeist it became. You know, is it, wow, this is very smart? Or is it, wow, this is actually unbelievably dumb? That's debatable. You know, I think here's the thing is, why is it spin at the end? I don't fucking know. You know, maybe a good movie would have told us why it was spinning at the end. Maybe did you consider that, Mr. Director Man, trying to seem all smart? This is the thing. This is my gripe, actually, with philosophy majors in university, is that really what I think that major is geared towards is making you harder to understand, because people equate difficulty of understanding with intelligence. And so the more obscure and the more complex and the more commas you use in every sentence, such that you have clauses that range for pages, right? Then the more successful you have philosophized, because the more obscure and obtuse you've become, the greater you are at your craft. And I feel that this may have been the trap that Inception has fallen into, where the ending is supposed to be this big thing, but really we have no context to understand it in its entirety. So that's my gripe.
I would argue it's easier to make an ending like the ending of Inception than an actual good ending of an actual good movie. How do you feel about the film Interstellar?
Okay. No one's out here saying Interstellar was the best movie ever.
Read the comments on all the content that I've put out over the past 10 days on Inception.
All three of them that commented on this subject matter. How many people?
Paying attention. There's quite a few comments. There's quite a few comments. It's
Sorry.
actually maybe as polarizing as when we said a rug pull in the NFT space is actually a rug pull, and people were holding that. Like you get some, I mean, you literally get responses on that where it's just like F you, PO. When something's at like 1.5 ETH, and I'm like, I kind of feel like this is going to go under 1 ETH at some point, and they're just like F you, PO. But anyway, Spencer, how do you feel about Interstellar?
I just have not watched that movie. I have no take.
I rest my case. I rest my case right there. Nick, are you like a huge Christopher Nolan fan?
No, I just feel like this subject matter has been obliterated, and like nobody really cares. Were you the one that tweeted the top?
Hold on. You're missing one thing. I would have thought nobody cares too. Nobody cares about 99% of the stuff that we say on this show. I'm the first person to tell you that. What I'm saying is, out of all the things we've discussed over months,
the Inception one is a ridiculous take.
People care about this one.
To Spencer's point, though, he is correct. I don't know about the whole top thing. I do remember that. Dude, it's been so long since I saw it. The fact that anyone has the ability to provide any depth of commentary on a movie that's that old at this moment in time means that at least stuck in your head, which is better than not. And I thought it was cool movie from like an effects side of things and splashiness. But yes, the top spinning at the end, no one has any clue. And that side of it sucked. And I agree with Spencer on philosophy, period. The only philosophy that was really good would be like Bertrand Russell is a really good philosopher. He does some good content there. I like
the guy with the big lisp, from like Eastern Europe.
And I don't know who that is. And then the oh, you're talking about the okay, I don't know what that is.
Like that.
Donald Duck. But
I'm gonna find it.
Bertrand Russell is good. And then a lot of the ones about like logic, because logic to me is something that's practical. However, all the other philosophers are kind of pain in the ass.
Yeah, his name is Slavoj Zizek.
Oh, Slavoj Zizek's funny.
Yeah, right? He's the man.
There you go. You got a philosophy buddy here in Kicks. Anyway, enough about the movie that we're only discussing because people think it's good, but it's not actually good. And that's why people are getting mad, because I'm pointing out that it's not actually good, but they think it's good.
What's your favorite movie? I need to know. What is your favorite? What is the movie you would watch every time?
Good is on a spectrum. The problem is the way that you're describing it, Pio, like you describe so many things, is you have a binary position on things, which actually deserve some level of nuance. Yeah. And it's just offensive, basically. But that may be a testament to your lack of having a philosophy major and your focus on engineering, where everything is actually very black and white, basically. Either the building stands up or it doesn't. It collapses as a result of it.
That's
true. That may be speak to your inability to have a depth of expansion on any matter, frankly, and especially something like Inception, where it's not binary. It's not just that movie sucked.
No, it just goes over Pio's head. It's like it goes way over his head. He can't process the quality and the mental fortitude that it takes to understand such a high-level film.
Well, so I texted first of all, my friend that was obsessed with Inception, that thought he knew about movies right after we saw it, a dozen years ago when we were boys, when we were like 19 or 20 years old. I texted him. Well, first of all, he had that same approach that Easy just did, which is you didn't understand the movie. And I was like, no, I understand. It's a dream within a dream. And every layer in the dream is 6 times whatever, blah, blah, blah. There's math. There's fake math that Christopher Nolan made up. But I texted him yesterday, and I just, out of the blue, hadn't talked to him in like a month or two. And I just said, Inception is trash. And he does not hold the same position he did a dozen years ago. He's like, yeah, I kind of feel like that movie's not that good. And I was like, all right, well, look, people grow. People grow. He thought it was good 12 years ago. Now, 12 years later, he's grown up, and he now understands that Inception is not a good movie. Real quick before we move on, to answer your question, Easy, I've seen a lot of films and I love a lot of films. If you're going to make me narrow it down to one, I'm actually going to narrow it down to two. And I'm going to say my favorite movies are Inglourious Bastards and There Will Be Blood. Those are my favorite movies.
Two actually good picks. My personal favorite is actually The Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher.
That's your favorite movie?
Of all time.
Hey, all right. That's cool.
No, it's not.
I swear to God, I swear on everything, dude. We can pull up some past things. You can ask people. They'll tell you my favorite movie of all time is Butterfly Effect. And they did make a sequel and a third one of that. Both are terrible. But the first one, woo!
Yeah, I'm not going to just shame The Butterfly Effect. I was about to shame a commenter on YouTube. He said Con Air, which is a Nicolas Cage movie that I've watched. There was a period in my life when I was 9 years old or 10 years old where I would just watch Con Air starring Nicolas Cage every day. I had taped it on a VHS and I would just get home and watch it every day. Dave Chappelle's in that movie. Danny Trejo. I could basically walk you through that whole movie.
Influenced you a lot, dude.
It definitely did. But the second thing he said Gone in 60 Seconds, which is a Nicolas Cage movie with Angelina Jolie, another great movie. But for a moment, I thought he said Gone Girl with Neil Patrick Harris and Ben Affleck. And if he had said Gone Girl, I was going to be like, yo, Gone Girl is a terrible movie, amigo.
What about Lord of War?
Oh, thank you for bringing that up, Kicks. I was just about to say
like
that's the only good Nicolas Cage film is Lord of War.
The only good Nicolas
What are you
Cage film? I'm
talking
about
about?
to cancel you. Nicolas Cage is an all-time great. What are we doing here? What are we talking about here?
He stole the Declaration of Independence live in film. And you're going to argue, like, who else could pull that off?
I forgot he did.
And one guy only.
I
What
forgot
was
he did
his
those
recent
corny
one
movies.
where he plays himself and goes out to like Spain or wherever it is? The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Ooh, I haven't seen that, but I know he's been making movies that he actually wants to make. I might go on a Nicolas Cage binge.
It's pretty good.
Nick, do you relate to that title?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, and I experienced that on the daily, basically.
Biggs brought up Gladiator, Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, fantastic film for sure. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about the continued Opepen frenzy. We're going to talk about Azuki. Oh, Nick,
Real quick.
Yeah.
How many movies did Nick Cage release in 2023?
17.
I'm gonna say 8.
5.
Wow, that's an incredible year.
That's pretty crazy.
He worked his ass off.
He's still operating on that. I don't know what his role was, but he was. Go ahead.
Do you guys remember the whole like cage phenomenon when you used to cage places? I don't know if this is a thing in your circles, but there was a thing for a while in my circles where you'd like walk into like a room and someone would have like taped Nicolas Cage's face to the ceiling and they'd be like, "You got caged."
Is that like, and then do you have to drink or is you just get caged?
Yeah, you just got caged.
Okay, I thought it was maybe like, icing, when you ice someone.
No, I remember. Yeah, icing was a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, geez, Spencer, thanks for ruining my week. Now I'm just going to be worried that I'm going to walk into the package room in my building and I'm just going to get caged. I mean, good God, I don't want to get. I don't want that.
We're going to start caging each other so hard in New York City, dude. It's going to be wild. Pio's going to be like walking his dog and Nick's just going to drop like
pop out of nowhere.
No, he's going to buy like a billboard like outside his apartment. It costs him $1,000 to be like, "You got caged, bro."
I was thinking about billboard prices the other day. I was like,
they're not bad. They're really reasonable, actually. The CPMs have come down.
Oh, dude, that's great. Like some billboard in like Midwestern Wyoming, like that, dude. I bet you could get one for like a couple $100.
You're just caging everybody on the freeway at that point.
Well, I was just thinking about the fact that, like, dude, basically, like, a lot of NFT projects went above and beyond with the budget that they spent on, like, funding, like, different teams and other stuff that they did associated with, like, sports or whatever. Can we just spend, like, how much does it cost to get a billboard and we just take a photo in front of it?
There's one in New Jersey, I want to say, or like New York. It's basically you're driving towards the city, but you're on the left side of New York City. Amazing billboards on that highway. And there's one about like, like working out, and it's called like Bro something. And just iconic billboard. Those are the billboards you want.
Thank you for giving the whole expanse of that story there.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll show you exactly on a map where I think it is.
There's a billboard location that's cool and has displayed cool stuff.
And there's a billboard there, and there's something on that billboard. Yeah, that's the insight you came from.
It's like Bro Lift or something.
Oh no, dude! The best billboard I've ever seen. It's for a pool company. All right, and it's a diving board, and all it says is "Your wife is hot." That's all it says, and they just sell pools.
Well,
Okay,
there-
Nick, it's on 95. Okay, it's on 95, and I want to say it's
okay, we don't need to hunt
roughly
down the
around
location.
Woodbridge Township.
If you have the exact name of the billboard quote, there was a last comment on this. I saw one the other day, and it says, "This company sucks." Here, and it says, "Here's the URL," and it's them promoting themselves, and it's like a diamond company, and I was like, my girlfriend was in the car, and I said, "Hey, type that in, like I got to see what that is," and she was like, "It's a diamond company." I don't know.
They got you. They converted you. They wanted you to go to the site. They got the click. I love it. Also, last thing, we got a commenter, JSP. He said, "Isn't Nicolas Cage broke now?" If by broke you mean hella rich because he's Nick Cage, then yeah, you're totally spot on there, JSP. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we got to
25 million.
Well, look at that. Even though none of those numbers are ever
It was one time much higher. This is according to CelebrityNetWorth.com, which is just absolutely spot on. I always
They don't miss.
they don't miss. Spencer?
I was gonna say the thing that I always think is funny is, there was a period in the bull market where just like random fucking degens made 25 mil off of like pictures of like cats on the internet and take their profits. And like you look at someone who has a storied career, lots of success. You look at people who are at the pinnacle of their industry. You look at whatever, right? Like Frank Ocean, right? Worth 15 mil something. Yeah. And you had some fucking guy who's like NoobTube 65 on .eth, trading up some JPEGs. That's 10 times the net worth. And I'm like, man,
oh no,
really, truly a wild place we work in.
Crypto money really is just straight up different. I mean, you meet people at these events and Nick will be like, "Oh, that guy actually runs a fund. He's worth $100 million." It's like, well, Jesus Christ.
So Nick Cage was not bankrupt, but he had to take on crummy roles to get out of $6 million in debt that he owed due to the real estate crash, basically. So he ended up working, and but I at this point, I don't think that, and that was in 2023 that he opened up about this, actually.
So that makes sense why there's 17 national treasures.
But he says recalls a dark time. So I don't know if this was during the real estate crisis. Yeah, that was when it crashed. So that was back, when was that? 2007? No, sorry. Yeah, around 2007, something like that.
That was 08, 09. Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of these Hollywood guys, Robert De Niro was doing movies in the late 80s, early 90s for a paycheck because he was going broke. It just is the way the cookie can crumble. And plus the money back then wasn't the money today. If you do steroids and you're in a superhero movie, you get some real money. I did strike another chord. Someone's tweeting at me about how good Gone Girl is and referencing how brilliant David Fincher is when he's adapting as he did in that one. Sorry, guys, Gone Girl's a lousy movie. Ben Affleck's the main character. You're not getting very far with that post-2000. Look
at that billboard. I-95, iconic.
Clemente, I really wish you didn't pull up this billboard.
I told you there was bro in it.
Does that really resonate with you? That billboard.
First thing I thought, you said billboard. I said, "You clean, bro."
All right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to discuss the Opepen frenzy. We're going to discuss Azuki hitting its lowest floor price over 18 months. Damn. And the current state of crypto in the United States with Binance FUD and institutional adoption both on the rise. Want to take a minute before we dive in to to thank the sponsor of today's show, Phantom Wallet, the official wallet partner of the Nifty and BoDoggos. It is the leading wallet, Phantom is, on Solana, and it's bringing its millions of users and a superior user experience and NFT features to Ethereum and Polygon. With Phantom, you can easily view your NFTs across all three networks and manage them in one convenient location. You no longer need to suffer from constantly switching wallets. So instead of having to switch between various wallets for all your BoDoggos, you can seamlessly manage everything in one location without leaving the app. There's a browser extension. There's a world-class app for iOS and Android. You can access your wallet from anywhere on mobile, which we know a lot of NFT degens are doing. You can even use cool features like searching and pinning your NFTs right in wallet to keep your collection organized. Because of this dope UI, you don't have to hassle with multiple seed phrases. There's multi-wallet functionality, and you can import your ETH ETH seed phrase to Phantom Wallet. So the upgrade's simple. No need to send NFTs or transfer assets. Just import your existing Ethereum wallet to Phantom. Visit the link in the pinned tweet and fund your ETH wallet to get started. While you're at it, connect your wallet to the nifty.com. That's where you're going to be able to claim the free NFT that we dropped today. It's also where the mechanics for BoDoggos are living and being built out. Anyway,
real quick.
Yes, absolutely.
A couple of things. One, on the Phantom side, if you have Phantom with a ledger, you can connect it to our site at thenifty.com/settings. That was an issue that we resolved this weekend, aside from one person who's having the issue still, and I'm going to debug with him. The other thing I was going to say is some people comment on the fact that I say girlfriend. What is another more acceptable thing? What I've realized is a lot of people in the comments are single and have no, future with any sort of relationship whatsoever. Is probably this experience that they're having right now, which is causing them to write very hateful things.
No, you have
very
a girlfriend,
hateful
Nick.
things, just disrespectful.
No, Nick, you definitely have a girlfriend. And I've been thinking about that billboard. And that's how good the advertisement is. Men are probably more likely to be driving than women. And it doesn't matter what relationship you're in, that woman wants a diamond. So the man's driving. He's like, I can't pick up the phone because I can't text and drive at the same time. She does it. If it's your sister, get her a diamond. If it's your mom, get her a diamond. If it's your girlfriend, get her a diamond. The answer is get that girl a diamond. It is a brilliant advert. So even now that you have a girlfriend, get her a diamond, Nick.
Get her a diamond, dude. Wake up, bro.
Boy's not getting her a diamond anytime soon. I'm telling you that much. Okay, that's just not in the cards. Okay,
It's like, did I say girlfriend? I meant side piece.
Someone in the comments wrote, single Nick was so 2 weeks ago. Love to hear it. Kicks, it seems like you are on Weather Report. Am I right about that, buddy?
I feel comfortable saying it now because it's been like 4 months or something like that. So I feel that actually longer than 4 months. I think that at that period in time, it is fair to be able to provide such statements.
It sounds like you're providing for sure. Fly Guy 47 said, girl laughed at one of Nick's jokes and she gets a ring in 2 days. Shout out to Fly Guy 47. That's a funny
laugh
comment.
At my jokes. I will say that actually is a key thing. And I keep using the same awful jokes over and over, and it never ceases to make her laugh. So that is that's
a good sign. We're off to a good start. Kixie, please take it away.
The arsonist has oddly shaped feet. The Human Torch was today, the 18th of July. It's Tuesday. Total market volume, $17 million. We got Blur coming in at 11.8. OpenSea at 3.9. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback in the leaders. Apes, 32.6. Mutants trying to hold on to 6, 5.9. Punks, 49.8. D-Gods looking strong, 8.7. Azuki busted down that Tatiana below the 60th floor, 5.6. Captain 6.2, Pudgy's 3.7. Over the past 24 hours, Opepen saw a rally overnight after a number of marketplaces sported Opepen PFPs. We had Magic Eden, OpenSea, and Rarible all repping Opepens in custom logo colors. Opepens are up 70% on the 7-day, holding a 0.8 ETH floor. Looking over at another recent project, Ether capsules and Ether avatars looking really good off the bottom, up 40% on a 1-day change, with buys coming in from Pranksky and Dingaling. What a combo right there. Capsules are now above the floor price of the Fair Dutch auction. Capsules are at 0.44, avatars 0.28. After a court ruled in favor of Yuga Labs versus Ryder Rips earlier this year, new court documents revealed that Yuga wants some of that cash. Specifically 1.5 million in profits and 200K in damages. Looks like a little Pepe money is going to be going over to Yuga. Lastly, Fingerprints DAO, a global community and platform for digital art, announced they're transitioning their membership into an NFT format. The artwork for the membership NFT will be created by Larva Labs. Hot damn, those guys are back from vacation. Quickly over at crypto, we got Bitcoin dropping below 30K, 29.7. ETH in the high 1800s, pulling back. Solana pulling back, 25. Ape just doesn't move, 1.9. Back to you in the studio.
Fantastic weather report kicks some updates from the Nifty Daily Digest. Sign up at thenifty.com. You need to have an account at thenifty.com to claim today's free NFT and all of the free NFTs. It's also the platform where BoDoggos mechanics live. Gucci is partnering with Christie's for an NFT art auction featuring 21 artworks that use AI and other generative techniques to reinterpret classic Gucci designs, with the auction taking place July 18th to 25th. Sounds like it's starting today, and featuring artists like Claire Silver, Tyler Hobbs, Emily G, and more. A bunch of brand new artists that we've never seen at Christie's, clearly. No, just playing. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is launching a new collection of 15,000 NFTs under his Museum of Mahomes brand in September, offering real world perks and benefiting his foundation for children in underserved communities. Athletes coming back to the NFT space. Wonder if that is a bottom signal or a top signal. Those are your updates from the Nifty Daily Digest. Again, subscribe at thenifty.com. Look, first, topic I want to sink my teeth into. Azuki floor price is continuing to go down. So Azuki, Elementals, and Beans have had a rough 30 days. They're down 50 to 60% since the same day last month.
Ouch!
Yeah, it's tough. Azuki's at 5.5 ETH, which is the lowest floor price since January of 2022. Wow, that's crazy. So yeah, minus 150 owners on Azuki, but plus 647 owners on Beans. So you're seeing some distribution on Beans, and you're seeing some exits on Azuki. Nick, what do you make of this?
5.65 is rough. That puts it back into the that puts it directly into the mid tier from the blue chip level. That's sub where Azuki is below mutants. Is that correct? 5.65. Where are
That
mutants?
is correct.
Chip
It's
right
a
now. Oh, yeah, that's
5.99.
No, it actually says 6.09 or 6.16 right now. Making some progress there. That's bad. I will say, dude, this is just rough for the overall NFT market. Basically, the narrative of the $25,000 plus PFP is kind of dying at this moment in time. That's tough. I mean, what's did Moonbirds break over 2? Nope, they pulled back as well. They had jumped up to like 1.9 and pulled back. I think basically, dude, the PFP projects as a whole are struggling. The NFT market is just struggling as well. Look, I don't think we're out of the bear market at this point in time. We had a nice little one-day bull run
Literally
last week.
What the French call it is a dead cat bounce.
Well, we've had a lot of dead cat bounces. Solana also is not holding its 26 level here, which is what we really need for that to stay in bull territory. Another phrase there, Kicks, bull trap would be another phrase.
I mean, Nick, it's so bad out there that if you Google NFT daily volume, it's just a bunch of broken Dune dashboards. People aren't even updating the data feeds. That's how bearish of a market we're in. They're not even bothering to update the charts.
I believe it. Spencer, what do you
trust? Crypto Slam. Sorry, Pio. I just don't trust it. It looks weird. Website looks weird. Don't trust it. I feel like I'm in a discount mall outlet.
Fair enough. Spencer, what do you make of the price action on Azuki at this point? And in your fund, do you have Azuki assets?
We have some Azuki assets. It's sad to see. Like, so the thing is this, right? Like, it's really sad to see the bleed of Azuki here, because as you guys mentioned, you're like, oh well, they're no longer in the upper tier. Like, what is the upper tier, right? Like, there's basically, like, the way the market used to be was you had like apes, you had punks, and then you kind of had mutants, and then below that you had Azuki, and there was always like Azuki could be the next apes kind of narrative. They had a moment, I think there's a moment where two Azuki traded for one Bored Ape, and I thought that was the moment where like that they could have reasonably flipped them, right? If they've crushed elementals. Without Azuki over 10 ETH, now that impacts everybody, right? Because then the argument was, okay, well, XYZ could be the next Azuki, right? Azuki be the next apes, XYZ could be the next Azuki. Right now, after apes, after you got assets, you got this big drop off in PFPs and goes straight down to 6 ETH, right? And at 6 ETH, you got captains, you got Azuki, you got some stuff. You got just below that 3.7. You got like pudgies, right? And so everything just reprices down a tier because there's no longer that middle tier. The question for me is, will this pull apes down or not, right? Like, because you could say, okay, this will pull apes down because they're just way overvalued relative to other PFPs. Or you could say, well, look at this. Okay, Azuki was their real only competitor at the moment, and that can change. Oh, and I forgot to mention, DGods is sort of the closest right now in the market to where Azuki was. And so I think this is also an opportunity there. What I'm really looking for, I think it's good for the NFT market if DGods pushes above 10 ETH and we have a narrative, okay, XYZ project, you know, captains could be the next DGods is a narrative that could exist. Whereas like, you know, before it was captains could be the next Azuki, right? What could be the next Azuki is a big question here.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to analyze it. Signal, what do you make of what's been going on with Azuki over the past 30 days?
I'm on the same page as Nick in that I think it's becoming, in these markets and for how long we've been going either crab walking or going down, it becomes more and more difficult to justify holding these PFPs, which are costing 10, 15, 20,000. And also, like, obviously we don't know exactly what's going to happen to crypto. Even though the headwinds in the US are looking pretty tough, it looks like they're starting to slowly break through. So I had this analogy in my head last night where I was thinking about sort of what's happening in crypto. And, you know, like, you know, when you're a kid and it's a sunny day and your mother's like, bring in the washing, and you're like, why? It's not going to rain. And for some reason, she's able to forecast the rain 45 minutes before you can. And all of a sudden starts downpouring, you know, 45 minutes later. That's kind of how I feel about like what's going to happen to crypto.
Her damn knee was acting up. That's how she knew.
Exactly. But this time I actually think there's going to be an opportunity for crypto to rebound. And what I'm looking at right now is, if I'm going to hold an NFT, my opportunity cost is against how will ETH perform or how will Bitcoin perform. And so if I'm holding an NFT and it's worth $10,000, I feel like I have to be really confident that that specific collection is going to outperform ETH over the next sort of 6 to 12 months. Especially since the conversation we've been having is around looking at Bitcoin halving last year, the fact that, Easy's been talking about how Q3, Q4, potentially there could be a turnaround. And so this is how I'm looking at things. It's like I have to benchmark against ETH and Bitcoin's performance. And so my consensus, so my bets, which are 10,000 and above, are going to become much, much, much less. And then my bets, which are say sub 1 ETH, I can perhaps, have more of them. But I definitely want to reduce the amount of NFTs that I have, be more into crypto going now, because I just don't want to take the risk of holding something like Azuki and potentially it not being able to outperform. But many NFTs are in the same bucket as Azuki. I'm just using them as the example right now.
Well, and Signal, I think you're right here, right? Like the context of everything going on in the NFT market isn't just the NFT market. It's also there's sort of two bigger things going on. One is, I think, expected high volatility of crypto assets. There's a big sentiment in a lot of investors that crypto could run really hard here. Maybe we get this soft landing in the economy and crypto does great. And, we're in a moment where if crypto runs too hard, people will sell off NFTs to catch the crypto run. Like, imagine if ETH pops to 2,400 tomorrow. I think that's bearish for NFTs. Then you also have a scenario where ETH nukes, right? Like, let's say, people are in general like bearish. The contrarian thing is to not be bearish right now, overall macro, right? And so if you are bearish, it could, like, we're just digital assets, like it can just nuke. Probably also bad for NFTs. So like this argument of like low ETH volatility, I think is hard to see. Now, that being said, I think that doesn't mean you shouldn't be paying attention to NFTs right now, because the truth is, if ETH runs to 2,400 and NFTs nuke in ETH, it's likely a very good time to look at buying NFTs, because every time in the past that NFTs have nuked, even this last cycle, right? Like this last couple of weeks, like if you bought the immediate Azuki FUD and then sold like 2 days later, you were up 20 to 40% on like everything, right? And I think that there's going to be another overcorrection like that coming. And so, I think the mistake is saying, oh, the NFT market looks kind of shitty right now, let me dip and like come back to it later when it's better. Like, no. Like the time that you can make the crazy swing trades is when that thing happens. And when it happens, you want to know what's coming back. Because the thing that you'll notice on all these dips is everything dips and then some things come back, right? And the things that come back really hard, but some things are just gone. And so what you should be doing as a market participant right now, I think, is diligencing in your own thinking. If there is a 50% correction, which collection comes back afterwards, and which collection just like truly is just gone, right? You can't recover from that 50% correction because people are like, it's down 50%. I'm going to sell it and I'm going to buy the thing I think will recover. And so that's like really what I think people should be focusing on right now.
Well, the reason why everybody in this market isn't rich is because people do leave at the times when it's most important to bear down, like you were talking about, Spencer, to be able to identify where to buy. Like the human nature thing is to just dip and be, I mean, look, the reality is if you buy an NFT right now, there's like a greater than 80% chance the price is going to go down. That's like the current state of affairs. Like if I just take a dart and throw it at the top 25 NFT projects on any blockchain and I buy one, the number's probably going to go down. Like that is unfortunately the reality of where we're at right now. And it's hard to convince people to buy NFTs in that scenario. But the people that can figure out how to analyze that market and bear down during times like this are the ones that get the outsized returns. And that's why few people get rich from this and not everybody gets rich.
Yeah, you know, I just got to say, I think the reason that people in this market aren't rich is because everyone's a fucking idiot. And that needs to be said.
That is actually one of the biggest struggles facing a lot of people, including many of our YouTube commenters, is that they're just dumb, you know, and that's one of the challenges that they end up struggling with during life. But I've found that like it is much
Tropic
better.
Thunder is a real movie.
What?
Sorry, I was lagging.
Yeah, you know what? So many fucking market participants don't understand the ending of Inception. You know, how do you expect to make money if you can't get why the top's spinning? I don't know what you think's going on here.
I saw some commenter in there. Dude, someone was talking about, yo, D-God's art is so much better than Bored Ape Yacht Club. And I'm just like, okay, like where are we? Maybe, I don't know. But like the analysis on like art by commenters is always entertaining. I don't mean every YouTube commenter is dumb, by the way, just most of them. Okay. So that's all that I'm saying. Okay, guys. It's just, and if you think that you're not the one, okay. So we're going to move on to the next subject. I'm just kidding.
Winner of the day in the NFT market is actually, surprisingly enough, Ether. Ether saw their first green day since mint, up 43% in the past 24 hours, up to 0.3 ETH. So the sentiment on Twitter over the past few days had been that the 0.1 ETH price point was lower than what would have been an appropriate price for Ether. I think I didn't even notice it was that low. I feel like I would have bought one if it was that low. That's quite low. I agree with that sentiment. It was too low. Because this soon after a mint, you can see a bounce. What a surprise. You see a bounce. I'd love to know what you guys think of this action. Spencer, do you have any exposure to Ether? Were you looking at it for your funds?
Yeah, I picked a couple up at like 0.17. I'm like completely out of the position now. So no, yeah, we did great. Not crazy good, but like, you know, it was really just a couple. I think, you know, that was a classic example of like, yeah, there's all these issues with it, but like when everyone's like fudding something, like, all right, it's probably oversold. I realized it reached 0.1. That's kind of gnarly, but like, yeah, I don't know where it goes from here. And it's tough to see, right? It's a low supply collection. It's not difficult like to think that like small buys can move the price a lot. So I would be very, very careful. You know, we have a sea of red and then they've got like a 40% swing in 24 hours, which is like pretty intense. But also, you know, you got to like, the question is, do you think that there's something compelling about Ether that will long run make it do better than Valhalla? And that's where I really struggle with Ether is like, you know, it seems very much like I don't understand the thesis on Ether that's distinct from the thesis on Valhalla. And Valhalla is much further in its cycle, right? Like the beauty of this market is that you don't have to like FOMO jump into stuff, right? Things don't move that quick. You can wait a while. Look at how they are in the market. Look at how Valhalla's done in the market. And you maybe get a sense for Ether, what it might look like today without the hype, right? And so, you know, I think that's the big challenge for Ether in the coming days and weeks is prove why they're better than Valhalla. Because we've seen kind of these like pretty hyped, like Azuki adjacent collections come out, and also like, you know, where they can break out. Like the really bullish case for these collections is there's weakness in Azuki. Can they own the narrative of they're going to dominate above Azuki the anime PFP narrative? I think that that's a really challenging place to do. But if you want, if that's the bet, if you're buying Ether today, it's because you believe there's something that they can do in the next unit of time that will get them to have a stronger narrative than Azuki. And if the narrative ever becomes they're flipping Azuki, they run. Like I think if they get to like 3, they can like it's in it. You know, if they get to like 3, 4, there's a good chance they can probably like flip Azuki. But I don't know that I see that in the cards where it's at right now.
I think I'm on the same page as you. Easy, any input on the action on Ether?
I mean, we saw Dingling sweep a variety of them, which I think is what led to a short-term pump. You did have some people on the timeline also saying the bottom feels in at 0.1, which like would have been the opportune time to buy, of course. Seeing this rebound's not terribly surprising, especially because people do like the art. Like at the end of the day, you get a lot of people that end up liking that and feeling like taking a flyer, and enough confluence on that, sure enough, pushes the floor up. I don't have any exposure to it. I don't plan to have any exposure to it. I do like some of them. Some of the trades look a little too busy to me, but it's one of those things. Give it a chance, see what they do. People really like the teaser that they rolled out beforehand, and I just think it's one of those plays right now that you can take a flyer on it and see where it goes. But I'm staying away.
I'd be very interested to see where we end up with it in a few months. One quick hit that we want to talk about on the show is the Opepen mania continuing. The Opepen collection by Jack Butcher is now up to 0.8 Ethereum floor price after nearly every NFT marketplace actually turned their profile picture into an Opepen amidst the ThreadGuy and Jack Butcher marketing push that we saw on Twitter over the past 4 or 5 days. We mentioned this yesterday. Beeple notably made a second. Oh, he actually made a second Beeple everyday piece about this this story titled Opepen Army. I know Signal is a fan of Opepen and a holder. Since we have Spencer back, I'm passing the ball to Spencer over and over again. Spencer, what do you make of this? Were you paying close attention to this?
Oh, yeah.
I know
mean, look, like this is a tragedy for ApeCoin DAO. This is what this is. This is what could have been, right? Like ThreadGuy didn't win the election for ApeCoin DAO, special counsel, whatever, right?
I don't really understand how that happened. I would have thought it would have been a landslide victory, but anyway, please.
But you got to understand that like the people who matter in the ApeCoin DAO elections are not crypto Twitter, but like this is the power of crypto Twitter. This is the benefit is, okay, ape community didn't support ThreadGuy. So ThreadGuy went to another community and surprise, surprise, guess whose fucking floor price is up? The other community he went to, right? And so like this is the thing is like, I see everything that ThreadGuy is able to do for Opepen as like, when what? Like they this open edition raised like $20,000-$30,000 for him. Like
60.
No more.
60,
Yeah.
60 okay, 60 grand. Like this is the value of a marketing stunt, right? Like that's not that expensive a marketing stunt. If you think about the change, so like it's a 12% swing in price, right? The change in market cap for Opepen that resulted from this PFP switch. I mean, it's just monumental. And this is like, I think, a lot of people's thesis on Jack Butcher is his ability to understand like social and Twitter sentiment, et cetera. And this is like, a masterclass in, you saw an opportunity, you saw someone who, again, I'm going to go for the argument here that I think 60 grand is like not that much money for what ThreadGuy's done for them. And it's not even money that they're paying him, right?
Right.
Community paid ThreadGuy to basically pump their bags, and like it's working really, really, really well. And at the ApeCoin DAO, we're paying a bunch of people, and they aren't pumping our bags. So I don't know what's going on there.
They ain't doing shit.
I think
ApeCoin DAO.
it's good that he didn't get elected to the ApeCoin DAO. I think he would have been bored by them. I think they would have like clamped his wings down. Now he can like
Probably.
really, he can spread free, and he's living his best self.
Yeah. Him having that position would not have been the right move anyways.
Would have been good money.
Yeah, it would have. He still would have made more than he's making right now, and he would have ended up keeping his PFP as a result. I don't know that like everyone's viewing it as like representing. Actually, initially I was like, well, does this make the most sense? He's not part of like the Ape Insider sort of like track, basically, to Spencer's point. That said, all of these DAOs effectively need some sort of like lobbying arm, community lobbying arm, essentially, which like recruits people to make the proposals more active. The only other one, like Jonah, when he had proposed his, like made his proposal, he was another one that was able to generate interest. And what it feels like is that, and what a lot of people don't realize, there's just so much money in all of these DAOs, including Nouns DAO, ApeCoin, and there may be a couple of others as well to be considered. Those two are the main ones where you can definitely go make a proposal and end up with a bunch of capital, whether or not you're even within that community. And the thing that's missing with a lot of them is that, like, you know, one person here or there periodically comes up with something that's compelling, but the community engagement side of this makes that collective more compelling if they're able to get people actually engaged and rewarded for participation. The idea of and so whatever the DAO is doing right now, it doesn't seem to be having like the same collective impact. So yeah, the Nouns one obviously is more I think more native, but it's also questionable as to, like, does crypto Twitter's like collective opinion even matter? Like, that's like the thing that I wonder, like, I mean, over the long term.
But we know now, right? Like, now we know that it matters for 12% pump in Opepen, right? Like that's exactly how much it matters.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. I mean, look, I've talked about this a lot. Nobody wants to hear me talk about it. I'll just mention it. There's specific audience that's platform based. And yes, Twitter is the most significant social media platform for NFTs historically, I think. But the reality is there's audiences that are working in the NFT space. There's audiences that own NFTs and are whales that are not present on Twitter. It's just the way it works. I mean, it's a single social media platform that, quite frankly, is not even relatively big, because I can go out on the street and almost every single person that walks by me has an Instagram. And I'd argue like maybe 10% at most have a Twitter. And I bet none of them know what Twitter Spaces is. I want to go to Bunny. I should also mention, I'm looking through the audience on Twitter. There are quite a few Opepen variations. So as far as like Twitter-related marketing pushes go, this absolutely was a significant success. I see Karate Combat, up-and-coming martial arts promotion is sporting an Opepen. I didn't have that on my bingo card. It's beyond the marketplaces, but even the martial arts promotions at this point are rocking with Opepen. It's pretty funny. Bunny has his hand raised. Bunny, what's going on, amigo?
Yeah, I think Spencer bringing up like the positive price action of Opepen, right? Like that would not have happened if he was elected to ApeCoin Council. Like ApeCoin wouldn't be sitting at 250. And that's not even like the responsibility of the council, right? They're just like reading proposals. I don't know, like no one would be like, it's not like everyone on Twitter would now have like an ApeCoin PFP, right? And like everyone would just be hyped up. He wouldn't be hosting like they do the Twitter Spaces through the ApeComs page, right? So he would just be a speaker on a space. So would there be 51 people instead of 23 people in the ApeCoin Spaces? Like maybe, but like I don't think it would have caused positive price action. Like I don't know.
I agree. Bunny, I agree. It wouldn't have caused a positive price action, but I think what's missing is that most people don't care about what's happening in on the special council and what's being passed, mainly because you say the word DAO and most people fall asleep. It has to be really compelling and an interesting proposal for it to kind of break through the noise. And I think what they missed by not having ThreadGuy is that he is very entertaining and he's able to talk about topics in a way that other people who do spaces aren't doing. And if there was something coming out of the special council, like out of ApeDAO, he could bring attention to it in a way where somebody would be like, okay, normally I don't care, but because ThreadGuy's talking about it, I'll go in. So I just feel like they missed the entertainment factor of making a DAO interesting and bringing in people who would never normally have tuned into those spaces. So while there might not have been price action, I feel like they miss an opportunity to grow their audience and bring more awareness. And I think I kind of see this as two moving parts. You've got ThreadGuy, who won this weekend, and then you've got Jack, who's obviously continuing to win. And the thing about this whole thing, I remember when CCO came out, for ages I didn't get it. I was just like, I don't get this CCO thing. And I think right now, like how Opepen is playing out is the perfect marketing 101. What does it mean when CCO comes out? And it's also testament to Jack and who he is in a founder. You wouldn't have corporations changing their logo if he was some random anon founder who dropped this earlier in the year and happened to go on to have the success that he has. He has it because people know who he is, people know what he's building. Obviously Opepen is fantastic. Chex was fantastic, but it is also a testament to Jack and the team and what they're building that they're seeing the success right now.
Yeah, and I think it's a classic battle of humanity. It's capitalism versus communism. Like ThreadGuy, Opepen, that's capitalism. 8-Coin DAO is communism. What happens in communism? Floor price goes down. Everyone gets progressively poorer, except for the bourgeoisie that just sucks the lifeblood out of the ecosystem like a vampire. On the flip side, you have capitalism. Floor price goes up. Jack Butcher, president, right? Independent parties working together. And I think it's phenomenal. So
wonderful insight, Kicks. Fantastic. In all seriousness, Jack Butcher's absolutely had a phenomenal year and a quarter. Ladies and gentlemen, real quick, want to take a minute to thank the sponsor of today's show, Phantom Wallet, the official wallet partner of BoDoggos and the Nifty. I've talked about it before. When it comes to managing Ethereum crypto assets, security has to be your number one priority. I mean, come on now. We've seen so many hacks. It really is too bad that we still see those in our space, but that's why Phantom offers cutting-edge security features to keep your assets safe. And by the way, these features are continuing to improve. So when you see notable personalities and leaders in the NFT space getting hacked, that's where you understand why Phantom has set out to create a better solution and improve the security issues that many users face. So we've got browser extensions for Phantom, world-class mobile apps that both offer a transaction simulator prior to completing the transaction to protect you and your valuable crypto assets from phishing attacks. Phantom also supports Ledger Mobile. Nick just mentioned that our platform now also supports Ledger Mobile through Phantom. So that'll ensure that your assets are kept secure even with hardware wallets. Phantom offers a super legible interface that keeps you informed and in control. So if you are ready to upgrade your wallet security, download Phantom by visiting the link in the pinned tweet on the Twitter space. Phantom.app is the URL, and fund your ETH wallet for the ultimate NFT experience. Connect the wallet to the nifty.com while you're at it. Shout out to Phantom, the sponsor of today's show and the official wallet partner of the Nifty and BoDoggos. So we discussed a new mint, Garbage Friends, that is coming out from Typical Friends, which my understanding is a subset of the Random Character Collective. A lot of collectives put together there. These are the people that brought you Invisible Friends, among other animated profile picture projects. There was a delay in their mint yesterday. Roughly 2,500 Garbage Friends were minted. They are holding a price of 0.14 Ethereum right now, which is a 3x out the gate for the project. There is a interesting long mint mechanic, I think, pulling a page out of Captain's book. They start out as garbage bags that will be staked, burned, and revealed over 4 stages, the Garbage Friend being the final stage. One thing to note is that after the allow list, minted, so the token gated allow list for Invisible Friends holders, we naturally did see a 30% dump on Invisible Friends down to 0.6 Ethereum. I mean, you have to expect that going into new mints like this. What do we make of Garbage Friends? Do we think that 0.14 is a reasonable floor price for this collection? What do you see coming from Garbage Friends here? I'd love to know. Spencer, go ahead.
I mean, if you see Invisible Friends selling off 50%, right? And the sum of Garbage Friends is not the loss in the price of Invisible Friends, then that's telling you that the market was underwhelmed by whatever happened, right? Like this is one of those examples where it's actually not I wonder where. No, this is very clear math here, right? Invisible Friends was at 1. Was there a mint price for Invisible Friends?
Back in the day, or Garbage Friends?
To mint the Garbage Friends is 0.05. Okay, so it was at 1 plus 0.05. So if it goes down to 0.5, you'd expect Garbage Friends needs to be at 0.55 for this to have been like meeting expectations, right? So certainly it being at 0.1 whatever, right? Like we missed expectations by like 30%, which is pretty significant.
Fair. I mean, look, crunching the numbers, I understand where you're coming from. What I'll also say is I do feel like we just see this with NFT mints in general, especially in a tough market like right now. So it's not, I don't know if it's necessarily like an underwhelming of Garbage Friends themselves, because it's like, what did you expect? I mean, they showed the art beforehand. What did you think that you were going to get? Kicks?
Yeah, you'd have to get something phenomenal. Like I think what you said is perfectly spot on. It's just a tough market to be doing any type of sledding in it. I mean, look at Azuki, right? And their production level. And yeah, it disappointed. But like, do we even realistically think that if Azuki did phenomenally, like the floor prices would be up in any significant way when they took, 40 million liquidity out of the ecosystem, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. I'm just saying that we're in such a low liquidity environment right now that I think it's like really hard for anything to make significant moves unless they're like executing perfectly or have like really tight supply. Like Opepen has a lot of whales that are holding or not going to sell, right? So like their floor price can move up with not even an insane amount of volume. And that's like Ether, right? We saw them. That's like a buy the dip kind of scenario. Are those the two things that have been successful trades in the last week? Like neither of those. It's not signs of a raging bull. I think it's tough no matter what you're doing.
Absolutely. And I mean, look, when we had our 1-day bull run, as Nick pointed out last week, and people were calling for the start of the next crypto cycle, one of the things I said is like, it just feels very, very, very early. I mean, this stuff has kind of been textbook in 4-year cycles 2 or 3 times now. And I'm not saying that it continues that way forever. However, going into the cycle every single time, people are like, it's not going to play out exactly the same. And it plays out pretty damn close on a almost identical timeline. So yeah, I don't know. It's early if we're going to stick to that timeline. I'm not saying that that's an inevitable thing, but yeah, I'm just pointing it out. Is that Spencer?
Yeah. I was going to say, that like one of the things here, right, is that like stocks are doing great, right?
Yep.
And that this is the context that we miss sometimes in crypto. Is like stocks are like close to all-time highs, right?
Yep.
Stock market is doing fantastic. So the question is that going to be uncorrelated from crypto, right? And there's 2 questions. It's going to be uncorrelated from crypto. It's going to be uncorrelated from NFTs. I see a much stronger argument it's uncorrelated from NFTs, and pull that out to the 5-year scale.
I agree with that argument, Spencer. I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, look, like this is the thing, is like, if stocks are back, but you still have ETH down 50%, is that right? Right. And part of that is, though, like, okay, well, if ETH was as high as it was last cycle because you had this whole like Alameda 3AC going on thing where people were just a bajillion times leveraged long. And like, that's always been the question, is like for ETH to reach where it was at, the actual like buying intent has to be way higher than it was last cycle, because there's no way you're going to get the same type of leverage that you had, right? So like notional intent to buy is like very different than it was last time. And I don't see huge capital inflows to crypto yet, except, and this is like the big exception, is in Asian market. And I think this is why we're seeing Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example, do Ape Fest in Hong Kong, is because that's where the only real inflows of capital to the crypto market are today, are in people who are betting on the opening up of Hong Kong. You see increased inflows from Korea, increased inflows from Japan. Like Europe, not at all. US, right? And so, like, there's a real chance here that stocks have a bull cycle that isn't correlated to crypto, and I think people will freak out if that happens.
Yeah, because also, I mean, if you think about it, how much of the S&P and the NASDAQ is just like IRA auto buys? Like, there's no auto buys going on in crypto, right? In any comparable fashion.
You just mean like on exchanges?
No, I just mean literally, like, how many Americans have their 401k set up that they are just auto buying the stock market every month?
Not until the Bitcoin spot ETFs.
That's what I'm saying. That's going to be a big thing. 100% though. It's like that relentless like auto buying of the American employee is like a floor price, the best floor price protector of all time.
Well, and I said the word Bitcoin, and you should have seen, for the listeners at home on Twitter, you should have seen the smile on Kyo's face. It was like end to end on his monitor. I can't even say.
I mean, guys, Yeah, we don't have to. I've struggled with this for a long time. I bring up Bitcoin. People are like, we don't want you to talk about Bitcoin. I'm like, I don't know what to do with you people. Not you guys as speakers on the show, because I think everybody here does have like at least a decent understanding of Bitcoin and why it matters. But yeah, anyway.
I think you all have at least a decent understanding of the relevance of Bitcoin, which is not, I want to be clear, a cryptocurrency. It's something far greater, far beyond that.
Strongest technology network in the world.
Yeah, okay. Strongest technology network. So yeah.
Hash rate. So anyway, the another quick hitter here.
Block speed.
No, but actually
Satoshi's.
Everything we just said is relevant. So real quick,
my Postgres database is far superior to the blockchain, but that's all good.
I'm gonna invest in that.
Wi-Fi speed.
Anyway, the other winner of the day is this is a very specific winner, ladies and gentlemen, but it's fun and it's worth mentioning. Owner of Pudgy Penguin 7705. So somebody won Pudgy Penguin 7705 yesterday via a Rollbit loot box. So Rollbit had to go spend 69 ETH, which was 4x the gold Pudgy Penguin floor to buy. Well, that's much more than the gold Pudgy Penguin floor to buy the penguin to give it to the winner of the loot box. So the person that owned that gold Pudgy Penguin and had it listed is a winner. The winner ended up relisting it right away for 42.69 ETH, which is still 2.5x the gold Pudgy floor. So this is actually the 5th highest Pudgy Penguin sale. So
wait,
I'm so confused.
Well, how did this go down? So I don't understand. They listed this. Sorry, Rollbit was promoting.
Let me break this down for you, Nick. They outlined it yesterday. You ready for this?
Yeah.
So they just go on OpenSea. They hit the right-click button on the mouse.
No, I understand.
They save picture as, and they put it in the loop.
No. But easy. Our question is so were they offering this product in the loot box without actually owning it, and it was just listed on OpenSea? What if the person like delisted it randomly? They
buy another one of equivalent rarity in trades. It says it like right in their terms and conditions. Because I went through this whole loop cycle yesterday, and someone from the Rollbit team came out and literally said, "Here is what we do," and they showed a video of them right-click saving on OpenSea, putting it into the loot box, and then saying read terms and conditions.
It doesn't even make sense to me because these guys are clearing $200 million, like, or like I think they're in the billions of dollars of revenue per month or something insane. 200 million.
It's $2 billion a month or something like that.
Yeah,
it's something stupid, dude. They make like 8-9 figures daily, dude.
Well, they're doing quite well. It is interesting that they're not buying the asset before they put it in the loop.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they didn't do that. Like
think about it this way, right? The chance of winning that asset's probably pretty low. Like I think this is a really standard thing for on-chain loot boxes to do. Is what's interesting is that they didn't just say like, "Hey, we'll buy the gold penguin floor for you," but they did put that asset. And it also like there's sort of two things there. Like one of the interesting things, as people said, this is like the 5th highest sale ever of a gold penguin, and there was a period of time
one of one.
Yeah, and like there was a period of time where that was the gold penguin floor, like somewhat recently. And so they structured this box. They probably didn't check it. It was there. Now, interestingly, the person who got it probably like has to sell it, right? And they have to sell it.
They already listed it for 42.69.
Right, real because they have a tax liability at the price that they paid for it, probably.
What?
Which is above its value. It's kind of a weird situation.
Yeah, it is definitely odd. Fun fact. Well, wouldn't the tax liability just be that the cost basis is 0? And then you sell it, and whatever you sell it for is your taxable.
No, definitely not, because you've won like if you go to a slot machine and you win something like
the tax liability is based on winning sorry, which person are you talking about having the tax liability?
The person who won the loot box thing, right? So the thing is, if you're gonna say, okay, you can make two arguments. You could say the value of the asset that I got, and this is the thing that actually comes up a lot, right? When people go on game shows and they win a car, they actually pay taxes on the price of the car. And a lot of people can't. And so sometimes Mr. Beast will talk about this, that when he gives people cars, he'll often say, "Hey, do you want the car or do you want the cash?" Because sometimes the people can't afford to pay the taxes that they're due for the car. And so, you could look at this two ways, right? And I'm not an accountant, I'm not a lawyer, right? But I would say that there's probably one approach is you could try and value the asset at what it's valued at, but that's gonna be really hard, right? Because it's valued at what it literally sold for 5 minutes before it was transferred into your wallet, right? And it sold for like $130,000. But floor on Gold Penguins is like $30,000 or $40,000. So like you have to realize the loss probably to offset. I mean, otherwise you're gonna have to pay like what 20 to 40% of like $130,000. Like that's like 50% of the value of the like it just you have to sell it, right?
Well, Spencer, the nice thing is they won this from Rollbit. They probably lost so much fucking money on Rollbit up to this point that they can write off a lot of it.
So fun fact is we have the gentleman that won this gold pudgy penguin in the crowd. His name is Agash. I also clicked on his profile and I see that Clemente actually tweeted, someone should tell the owner of the gold Rollbit penguin that they should at least claim their Lil Pudgy before selling. He then said, thanks, Clemente, and claimed his Lil Pudgy. So we got a little interaction. He's also requesting to speak on the Twitter stage right now. Should I let him up?
Let him in. Let him in. Let him in.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very great individual, a big-time celebrity in the NFT space, the guy that won this giveaway from Rollbit. We got Agash on stage, Agash Nava, CTO at Rand Gallery. He won a giveaway, ladies and gentlemen. Agash, how's it going?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Happy with the win, but you know, I would have preferred the E, but you know, I'll take it.
Are you going to have to, are you prepared for the tax situation that you're facing here that we've been discussing?
I don't live in the US, so I come from a tax jurisdiction where gambling gains are not subject to income tax.
Oh!
Damn! There we go. Good Lord.
Okay.
Holy shit.
What's the cheapest you'd be willing to let that pudgy go for?
I think realistic market value is probably in the range of like 20 to 24 ETH. That's the range I'm aiming for. Obviously, I've listed it for 42.69. I don't expect it to sell for that, but I mean, you know, anything between 20 to 25, I'll probably sell it.
We got any buyers here interested? Spencer, any interest in buying? Any counter offer?
We're gonna have an auction between Redbeard and Spencer starting tomorrow during the show. Little auction for the gold pudgy penguin.
Nick really wants me to buy something from someone on stage on one of these Twitter shows, and I'm just not going to do it. I'll hit your DMs and we can chat, but we're not doing it live on stage.
So Spencer, this is all about good entertainment here. So just make an offer. Come on, let's just suck it up, and it's all good, brother.
Agash, are you in Dubai?
No. I'm based out of Europe, not Dubai.
Lisbon.
He's in Cyprus.
Doxing people live on stage.
he doesn't want to say. That's pretty cool. That it sounds like you've got a grip on the tax situation. Were you super duper excited? I mean,
he's in London. I mean Cyprus.
You want to give away?
Okay, I'll ask the question that Pio is trying to ask here, which is the moment that you won. How did it feel? What went through your head? What was your first reaction? Like, walk us through it. Take us through what that was like.
Yeah, I mean, I was honestly pretty surprised because, as you kind of said, I was a bit down on Rollbit, so I was just trying to get out of it. So I had a bit of extra cash left, so I thought I'd run these loot boxes. And it was a 2K spin. So on my first spin, I won 3.5K. So I thought I'd do it again. On my second spin, I won the gold pudgy, and I was like, pretty much selling for 24 ETH. I'll probably make back how much I lost that day. So
how much?
That's also the target price.
How much were you down so far on like leading into those spins?
Probably like $25K.
Wow.
Sayonara, motherfucker.
Wait, so, dude, these effects. Hold on one second.
What are you talking about?
So you were down $20,000 to $25,000. Is that a significant sum to you?
Not really, but I mean, I could do with the money.
Okay, so
my guy just said, not really, bro. 20 to 25K. You know, that's kind of breakfast money. You feel, you know, like a little bacon and eggs.
Said, fuck it, 2K spin. It hits. He's up 1.5. He says, fuck it, we riding this shit again.
Gosh.
What?
Wait, hold on. So you doubled down.
Quick question for Agash. Agash, how much money do you have?
Probably not going to comment on that, but I mean, I made a bit of cash from XRP, but which is why I
Nice.
entered the casino off the back of the XRP win.
Were you doing futures on XRP on Rollbit?
Not few. I was doing futures on KuCoin, not on Rollbit, and then I kind of
All right.
bought
So
some
you,
Rollbit, and I kind of decided to do some DD by playing around with Rollbit after a big purchase.
Nice.
all right. So you hit XRP. You then hit Rollbit. You're on a hot streak. Give us what's the future? Give us some shit. What are you looking at now? What are the next steps?
To be honest, I'm probably still looking at Rollbit and XRP. I still think Rollbit, given the amount of revenue they're making, it's still a very decent pay, and it's I mean, I think they're extremely undervalued if you compare them to other futures platforms, even just on their futures revenue alone. And XRP, I think, is more of a long-term hold. I did sell like 50% that I held. I'm still holding 50% to the moon.
So how long were you holding XRP going into that trade? Was this a short-term trade because you had insider information that this announcement was about to go through?
No, I've been in XRP for about 2-3 months. So not as long as some of the holders who have been waiting for like 3 years. But I think I kind of came in when the Hinman papers were being announced, and I started kind of DCAing into it around that, before that time and during that time as well.
Dude, phenomenal. And then I love the fact that he made money on Rollbit. He's going to take that money and buy Rollbit token and just basically be like, this is an effective operation here. I'm going to bet on this operation.
I love it. Sig.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask Agash. So, would you rather take the odds on going back on Rollbit, or take those funds and go down to the bookies and see what you can win?
I think I'll retire from the casino for the short term and gambling, but I'll still gamble on some crypto tokens. So my main intention is to buy some RLB once I sell this pudgy and ride that up, hopefully.
what I like is here we've got a thesis of Rollbit will successfully take other people's money. Why? Because it's successfully taken my money. Great thesis.
Agash, I have a quick question. It sounds like most of the stuff you're engaging in is basically just degen gambling. Like kind of when you really think about it. But you sound really smart. Would we chalk that up just to the English accent? Like, what do you make of that?
The amount of money that I'm kind of gambling in these degen plays is not a significant portion of my net worth, and if I were to lose it, I wouldn't really be affected by it. I mean, my long-term hold is still primarily in Bitcoin, and that's where significant.
There we go. Is. This guy knows what he's doing. These aren't even risky trade. Like buying XRP 2 or 3 months ago after the Himmer papers or whatever came out. That's a smart buy right there. That's what we call a free 2x in my book.
Pio,
me too. He's a Bitcoin guy.
Pio, even smart people can become addicts. Okay. So I just want you to know that you're like, it's not a sign of his intelligence. It's just, we can all become addicts. And that's something that's possible via many different things. In this case, rather than drugs, we go with gambling. And that's something that is very fun, very addictive. But he does so in a conservative, reasonable way. And so that's
I have a question. So we know that you like Bitcoin. We know you like XRP. We know you've been degening in Rollbit a little bit. Do you like NFTs? Have you been in the NFT space for a while? Have you been an NFT buyer for a while? Or what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the CTO of Rand, which is an NFT marketplace on the Algorand blockchain. So I'm also bullish on Algorand as well, clearly, as I'm building on it as well. But yeah, I've been in the NFT game for a long time. One of the biggest collectors on the Algorand blockchain, and I dabble in like Ethereum and XRP NFTs as well.
Very cool. Well, you got to check out Solana NFTs, because Solana is a super fun blockchain for trading NFTs on. And we launched our most recent NFT collection on Solana. It's called BoDoggos, buddy. I also appreciate you joining the show and not promoting your business. I thought that the way you brought it up was a very classy way that you brought it up right there. I had no problem with it. Quite frankly, enjoyed hearing about it. And I think a lot of people that participate on Twitter Spaces could learn a thing or two from the way you've conducted yourself on this appearance. Go ahead, Nick.
I'm wondering that, like, this Rollbit trade here. I'm kind of interested.
The party. It's already up 3x since.
Nick, I'm gonna send you a DM. There's a better trade that's pseudo associated to Rollbit that I don't want to publicly share yet because I think it crushes.
But Nick, here's the thing though. I put money on Rollbit like 3 weeks. It's for real. It's good, dude. I went on Rollbit, dude, and I used their crypto futures.
Hey, Kicks, they're not paying us for this. I've had enough with
Well,
this.
I do want them to sponsor us. I do want them to
Well, you
sponsor
can
us.
tell them
so.
that one of the co-hosts of the show, I put some 15x leverage in Arbitrum. And
If anybody knows Rollbit people, let me know.
We do.
Yeah, I know, but they're not getting back to us. Well, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get in there, even if I have to go to Rollbit headquarters or whatever, and just be like, look, let's figure it out. Well,
They're in a mysteriously international island which owes no taxes. Also, I hear so that's actually it's very convenient.
Look at that, and
that was beautiful this time of year.
That wouldn't be anything new for me and Nick, and we could say what up to Beanie when we go down there. Anyway, Agash, really appreciate you joining us on the show. That was pretty fun. And any closing thoughts for the audience, considering you're a big winner and 25K ain't shit to you?
I'd say, try Rollbit out. It's pretty cool. I think, it's a pretty innovative platform. I think, having tried out things like Stake and other more Web2 gambling platforms, I think Rollbit is doing some interesting things. And the thing which I think is everybody's focused on the crypto futures on Rollbit, but looking at the odds for the NFT loot boxes, they're pretty ridiculous. And I think, everyone's just focused on, gambling away on 1000x leverage. But given the fact, that I won this on my second roll on a NFT loot box, I was trying to check that part of the market out. And I think the odds are pretty darn good on that.
Well,
because no one's really looking at it.
At this rate, you're going to get a deal with Rollbit before we do. Anyway, this was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we brought you up. You did very well. Kicks, yes?
I just had one question. Why are you bullish on Algorand? I'm just curious. I've heard of it before, but just like a quick elevator pitch.
Well, he works. He's building on it. But yeah, I am curious. Go ahead, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. So I guess there's a few different things about Algorand. Number one, its founder, the founder of Algorand, Sylvia McCarley, which is a Turing Award winner, who's essentially the father of modern cryptography. So it's coming from an esteemed founder who's not really trying to, shield their bags, and is an academic. And essentially, if you look at the Bitcoin white paper, his work in cryptography is essentially referenced there. Algorand has 3.3 second finality. It's unforkable. It's a green blockchain. And there's a bunch of other advantages. And I think when comparing to ecosystems like Ethereum, one of the bigger advantages is the fact that Algorand has 6 transaction fees, which are 1,000th of an algo. So when you run a business, you kind of know that if I'm going to do 1,000 transactions, it's going to cost me an algo. And it's not like an auction model like it is.
Yeah, it's not fluctuating. Like
from a business standpoint. Yeah, exactly. It's fixed. Yeah, it's fixed gas fees, which make running a business on there a lot easier. They're partnered with, if you go and collect.fifa.com, the official kind of NFT partner of FIFA is also Algorand. And if you look at TravelX, which is kind of digitizing airline tickets, that's also an Algorand. I mean, that project has made a lot of space in the cryptosphere, but I think a lot of people don't know that they are building an Algorand.
I love it, man. Well, you put that on my radar. I appreciate you.
I've seen Algorand before. Well, you said you were talking about 3-second finality or 3.5 seconds. Does that matter no matter how many transactions are in the queue?
Obviously, right now the TPS in Algorand I think is like 40,000 or 46,000. So obviously it will vary, but obviously every transaction in Algorand has an hour to complete or 1,000 blocks. So let's obviously the Algorand blockchain immediately gains like 10+ million transactions in a 60-minute window. You're Gucci.
I love it.
Love it. Hey, go ahead, Nick. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, we're switching everything over to Algorand officially.
Look at that. Algorand doggos. Anyway, thank you for joining us, Agash. This was a lot of fun. Congratulations on the win, buddy. Hope that Rollbit continues and other things that you're doing continue to be fruitful for you.
Yeah, perfect. And thanks for having me on the show. And have a good rest of your day, guys.
You too, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our show. One quick reminder that the show and BoDoggos collection and the Nifty brand is sponsored by Phantom, the official wallet partner. That is Phantom Wallet. As an NFT enthusiast, you want an Ethereum wallet that is actually purpose-built for the NFT community. And that's why you should check out Phantom. It's the wallet that offers the best system to showcase your NFT collection. So the browser extension, the mobile apps, it just makes it really easy for you to manage all your NFTs across Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, all in one spot. You can even, there's functionality that will come to some of these other blockchains that are more recent to Phantom that will allow you to actually list directly from the wallet. And there's support for multiple seed phrases. So you can actually import and manage all your wallets in one place without the need to send NFTs or transfer assets. Phantom has millions of users already enjoying an amazing experience on Solana, and they're bringing the same sleek user interface and excitement to Ethereum. So if you're ready to take your NFT trading to the next level, head to the link in the pinned tweet and fund your ETH wallet for a superior experience. Clemente, why don't we dish out the free NFT? The password, if you go to the nifty.com/claim, that's THENIFTY.com/claim, and the code is Phantom22. PHANTOM 22, like 2 2s. And if you have your portal or your BoDoggo connected to the site, you auto claim these. But we got this Phantom themed free NFT right here that you can claim right now at thenifty.com. So go and check it out. Anything else before we wrap? Nick, any closing thoughts that you wanted to share before we wrap?
No.
Look at that, ladies and gentlemen, a man of few words. Hey, we do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Eastern time. Also available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. So check out the podcast on those platforms if you're interested in learning more. We appreciate everybody listening. We'll be back tomorrow. We're not going anywhere.